Hey, welcome everybody to another exciting episode of Crash Course, the one and only, of course, Crash Course. Crash Course Radio to Crash Course Podcast. What a phenomena. Love it. We just keep growing, keep in all directions too. We are growing our viewership, which is great. Thank you very much. I'm still trying to get comfortable to this whole set here. I mean, transitioning from radio to this, believe it or not, it is a transition. I know there's a lot of transitions today, but this is one of them. And we're not going to elaborate on that here on Crash Course, but that's for another show. Anyway, seriousness though, serious. Yeah, so it's weird because you would think that having been behind a microphone on the radio and then doing that and that's not easy either, folks. That is no easy gig. Don't let anybody fool you. These guys that do that for a living, whether it's talk radio, maybe DJ, especially today with all the automation and everything, DJ may not be that complicated. But talk show host, what I did on the radio for over 2 years, difficult, very difficult job. All right, not to mention with the time elements involved. You have to constantly be aware of time and your advertising spots and everything else. So. But it is a leap to move from radio to podcasts. I mean, podcasts, you don't have all the cues, you don't have all the ebb and flows. You pretty much have the ebb and flow yourself. And you're kind of relying on yourself to get into a groove. All right, so things get a little punchy here, things get a little sticky. If it seems like a roller coaster ride, and I apologize for that. Just hang in there. Things will get smoother. Things will get better. As it happened with the radio show, all right? Not to blow smoke up my ass, but I was told by people in the know in that business that I actually evolved into quite a radio host with that, all right? I really picked it up. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I felt I was good at it. People told me I was good at it. All right, so hopefully we get good at this. Speaking of which, welcome to Crash Course, all right? If you're just coming along, checking us out on this episode, welcome. If somebody told you about us. If you heard about us, terrific. Stay tuned. Hang in there. All right. What we like to say here is we're going to give you a good time, and you're going to learn something too. And it's all free. How's that? Can't say that about a lot of things, right? Maybe you learn something, have a good time, and it's free. Crash Course. But seriously, though, if it's your first time checking us out, maybe, like I said, you heard about us or maybe you spotted us. All right. We are across the fruited plain of all social media. All right, you can even find us in the outer reaches of the Milky Way. All right, that's how in-depth and personal we get here at Crash Course. All right, we reach all the way across the heavens. All right, but serious. We can be found on Instagram, Spotify. We do have a YouTube channel. If that's your thing, you dig that, you like futzing around on YouTube a lot. I know I do. I rely on that a lot. I dig it. It's so cool. I'm a musician. I play the drums. I'm in a band right now. I can't tell you how revolutionary YouTube is, right? It's amazing. It's just phenomenal. I mean, I use that in so many different ways, and it just increases your footprint and your learning capacity. I mean, everything from, if you're a musician, right, and you're hearing me, you're going to appreciate this. So, I mean, you can get everything from notation to lyrics to sheet music, right? You can actually see the original band copy of the song. If you're like myself, if you're in a band and you're trying to, you're copying songs or you're covering songs, you need to make sure that you're, trying to recreate the original material as much as possible. YouTube's great, right? So we're on YouTube. All right? That's what we're getting at here. We are on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. Please go there, check us out, subscribe. Our subscription rate is starting to move up. Thank you very much. All right? We are driving the traffic there. We're trying to get that more dynamic. Stay tuned. I know some people really enjoyed the B-roll that we were shooting when we were at body shops and everything. So we're going to see if we can start coming up with some more videos, some cool videos like that again, all right, where we were showing crash cars and, some in-process repairs and stuff like that, all right? So if you like that kind of thing, that turns you on, I think it's pretty cool, especially if you're interested in that line of work, or you just want to, check out how things are fixed on the body shop side. Well, that's what you can find there. And we're gonna try and develop more of that in the near future, right? So the YouTube channel is there. Of course, Facebook. Our Facebook page is very dynamic, thanks to my very diligent and hardworking podcast engineer. He was my radio engineer. Now I've just promoted him to podcast engineer, Anthony. All right, so we're doing a good job. All right, we're trying to stay dynamic, stay creative, stay focused on moving this whole project ahead. Crash Course, folks, what our mantra is, and will always be, all right, we are giving you knowledge and information you need and can use, and advice you can trust. All right, never more important than today, right? We got so much information out there. They call it the information superhighway. I call it the information, disinformation highway, right? Misinformation. I like misinformation more than disinformation, right? Disinformation kind of, to me anyway, insinuates some nefarious activity there, We got the disinformation crowd or, black helicopters and the government and all this other nonsense. But misinformation, unfortunately, it just abounds. And with respect to Crash Course, right, and we focus on autobody industry, the insurance industry. We touch a little on the legal side. All right, I'm no legal brain trust. Certainly not an attorney, but we do touch on some of that, and we do have our client personal injury firms on our website, which reminds me, collisionservicenetwork.com. Hey, collisionservicenetwork.com, the place you need to be if what you need is a reliable, professional auto body shop, all right, that's going to stand up for you, look out for you. It's going to represent your interests, not the interests of the insurance guys. Very important. Stick around. We talk about that a lot, and we differentiate that. There is a big difference, folks, more so today than ever before. It is absolutely critical that you understand and know who and why is fixing your car. I mean, by why is why they're fixing it or want to fix it the way they want to fix it. And, I've developed many shows over the lifespan here of Crash Course, and we'll continue to do that, all right, to continue to illustrate why it is very important. COVID, for all of us, COVID created quite a new environment for many different reasons, right? A new work environment, a new economic environment, new medical environment. All right, most industries were impacted dramatically by that. All right, and the car business is no different. All right, the car industry was impacted dramatically by that. And one way that affected you and I, all right, was getting cars. All right, think about it. Before COVID, this is amazing. Before COVID, I think they said something like 75% of cars. It might have even been more than that. All right, I did a show on this a while back when I was over at the radio station. But it was phenomenal to see. I believe it was at least 75% of all cars that were sold usually was sold as through a lease type of arrangement or something like that. In other words, people weren't financing. Right, financing of cars had really gone flat. Right, so if you're a business guru, you know what I mean. So if you were graphing that, it would literally be almost a flat line year over year over year. Right, not so with the lease. Right, lease was like an upward trend. COVID comes along and just smashes that. I mean, just like totally smashes that. That whole rubric collapses. That whole paradigm collapses overnight, literally. And when we start to come out of the doldrums, when we start to come out of the ashes, and we start to come back, and the economy starts to pick up steam again, and everybody starts kind of getting the ground under their feet again. Lo and behold, people, because of the experience with COVID, right? You got to remember now, COVID hits, everything shuts down, right? Everybody's sitting on leased cars. Now they're all saying to themselves, wait a minute, I don't even own this car, right? I don't own this car. Now we go through this kind of bullshit again, and I don't even know where I'm getting where am I going to have a car, right? The lease guy wants his car back, and I'm stuck with nothing. So people actually they were buying back leases in volumes that was never seen before. It was absolutely astounding to see. All right, and it continues today. More people today are still financing cars. It is trending back in the other direction somewhat, but it's still quite phenomenal to see that most of us have decided that buying the car, financing the car, would be more beneficial. All right. So the auto industry was dramatically impacted by COVID. Right? We went from being a society of leasing things and then giving them back or throwing them away and going and getting into something else to, hey, I want to hold on to this. I want to buy this. I want to own this. Right? And it makes sense because when you own it, then you're controlling your future, right? You don't have to be concerned about, holy shit, am I gonna have to come up with another down payment, and then the lease. Anybody out there who was leasing cars, what about the lease payments? Holy shit, you were leasing a car for $350, $400. You wanted to release it, it would like triple. My cousins, I think my cousins were leasing a Tahoe or I don't know, something like that, some big truck, Tahoe, Chevy Tahoe, and they were like, oh, we're gonna take out another lease. No problem. Their lease went from like $550. They wanted $1,250 a month. I mean, crazy stuff. So of course they bought it out. Right? They worked out a deal and they bought it out. It was actually cheaper for them to buy it out and keep it and make payments. So where am I going with this? Well, dramatically impacts the industry, which dramatically impacts the autobody industry. Folks, when you own something, you have a stake in something, guess what? You give a shit now, right? When you leased it, it's like renting a car. Nobody gave a shit. They're like, I got in an accident. Here you go. Take it to whoever you want. Take it down the road to, Tricky Dick's Autobody, and they can bang it up and, glue it together and spray paint it. However they're going to fix the car. I mean, really, would you give a crap, right? Most of us wouldn't. I wouldn't give a shit. I mean, it's your car. Here you go. Just get it back to me, though. I want to keep driving it. So now, so it's interesting that, out of something as horrible and terrible as that was, COVID, right, on so many levels, for so many people, unfortunately, sadly, it stressed us all out, right? Financially, medically. I mean, God forbid if you got sick and everything. So out of the ashes of that crap comes a whole new way that the auto industry had evolved. Right? People now, there was a paradigm shift back to actually wanting to own cars. The used car market, do you remember this? The used car market blew up. You couldn't get a used car. They were begging people to sell the cars to the dealer so they could resell it to you for double the price. I mean, check that out, right? And then people were buying it for double the price because there were no cars around. It was quite the phenomenon to see. It was really, really wacky doodle, man. But again, how does this impact the show? Crash Course, right? What are we about? We talk about autobody. We talk about insurance. So now we got the majority of people owning things. Folks, guess what? Now you have a stake. Now you don't give a shit. You're not renting the car. It's your property. So it's more important now than ever before to make sure you understand how and why and where your car's getting fixed. Some people are probably laughing saying, holy shit, that guy took one hell of a circle to get to that point. Maybe I did, but I think it was a well-made circle, all right? Because I had a lot to say, a lot to unpack there to get to the premise, which is, guess what? You own your car. You're going to give a damn now who fixes, right? You should. Okay? You should. For many reasons, but if not for the one reason that, you're going to want to keep the car, and obviously we all love our cars. All right, we don't want to drive a shit box, and you want to make sure that, if you give it to somebody and it's put back together, it's not going to fall apart at 70 miles an hour on the highway, right? Well, the paint's not going to fly off the plastic bumper because somebody at Tricky Dick's Autobody didn't want to be bothered using the right material so that the paint wouldn't fly off. But I digress. The fact of the matter is, more people now are owning cars, buying cars outright, used cars, whatever it is, and that's great. I think it's great. Right? I think it harkens back to like my age. Right? I grew up in the 70s, and cars were everything. Cars were an extension of people's personality, their character. It was an expression of who they were or how they felt, either about things or hobbies that they enjoyed. It was so cool. It was a great era to grow up in. It really was. The cars were just amazing. You could take a car into your garage, open the hood. You and your buddies could literally overhaul an engine overnight. The shit that I did to a car in a garage in the 70s, it was phenomenal. I mean, we would put new heads on, new valve gaskets. We would do a valve job. Intake manifold, brake job, rip the front off, put a timing chain in. Absolutely phenomenal. The transmissions, no problem. We'll do a trainee overhaul for you right in little Joey's garage tonight. And now you open the hood and you're like, oh, can we get that guy over there that's got 3 degrees in engineering and electrical engineering so he can tell us where the engine is? Right? I look in these cars and I'm like, where is the engine? It looks like a mass of wires and inverters and converters and flex capacitors. That's a joke, actually. There's no such thing. That's from, I think that's either from Star Wars or Star Trek. I don't know. Flex capacitor. I mean, if you look in there, you could sell somebody on that bullshit. You could tell them it's a flex capacitor, and they would believe you. So I think it's great. I think it's so cool that more people now than ever are owning cars outright and buying cars, and they're taking an interest in cars. And so like I said, so that means we have a stake. All right, we have a stake in what we have now. All right. So Collision Service Network is more important than ever, folks. All right, because we're here for the peeps. We're here for you. We're here for me. All right, we're looking out for you. You go to collisionservicenetwork.com. We're going to make sure that we hook you up with a body shop here on Long Island that's going to fix your car for you. Big difference, folks. I'm serious. All right, I know some people might be scratching their head going, what the fuck's this guy? What does he mean for me? Of course they're going to fix it for me. No, they're actually not. If you go to a body shop that works for the insurance company, and we've spoken about this, and we're going to continue to speak about it, because this is a very detrimental program. All right, it's been operating for probably the better half of 2 decades now. It's called the Direct Repair Program, or the Insurance Company Sponsored Shop Program, whatever you want to call it. The bullshit program, the rip you off program, the the screw you program, the help the insurance guys save money program, the dumbass that does work for the insurance company program. I mean, pick something. I have a whole slew of titles. Anyway, but seriously though, if you end up in one of these shops, how about this? I'll even leave it at this. All right, then I'm going to get into some other stuff here real quick, because actually the title of this show is Give Me a Break, all right? And I think that fits right here. I'm going to say it right here. Give me a break. Holy shit. I mean, if you end up in another shop, and it's not one of our shops, it's not a shop from Collision Service Network, you're going to be on your own, folks. And if you end up in an insurance company shop, like I just started talking about, I mean, give me a break. Do you really think they're going to be looking out for you? All right? If you're the guy feeding the dog every day, you're the guy feeding the dog, all right? And some other guy comes along and he says, he's going to take the food away from the dog. Who do you think that dog's going to be more loyal to? The guy feeding the dog, or the guy that's trying to take the food away? The guy feeding the dog. I don't even know if that's a really good analogy, but I mean, I'm trying to infuse some levity here. All right? But seriously, folks, give me a break. I love it. I love the way these titles, I come up with these titles. I think it's creativity just on loan from God. I don't know where it comes from. I'm telling you, the talent is amazing. It comes directly out of the heavens. But seriously, give me a break, right? You're going to let your car get fixed by a shop who's agreed to do the work for the insurance company. How loyal is this guy going to be? All right? Think about that. Right? He didn't even own your business. He doesn't give a shit whether you go there or you go to the next guy. He don't even know you. You came there. You didn't even go there because your friend or your uncle or your neighbor said, hey, this guy's great. He fixed my car. Phenomenal job. I had a problem. I bought it back. No. You went there because the insurance company said, he does work for us. Take it over there. It's good. Good for what? Good for them. That's who it's good for. Right? Give me a break. You don't want to help them. They don't need any help. They don't need your help. They don't need our help. They help themselves very well. They save money very well. They're data-driven. I'll get to that. And they don't need any help, folks. All right? So I digress again, though. You go to a shop other than Collision Service Network shop. You end up in an insurance company shop. Forget about it. All right? They're not gonna work for you. And I was talking about that because some people might be out there saying, well, what does it mean work for me? I dropped a car off there. Of course they're not working. Who are they working for? The guy down the road, my uncle, my friend, my buddy? It's my car. They're working for me. They're actually not working for you. If you go to an insurance company shop, they're working for the insurance company. Okay? Now, they're not going to tell you that. They're going to welcome you in, sign some paperwork. Here you go, Mr. Smith. Very good. Mrs. Smith, we love that you came here. Love it. Phenomenal. Okay. Give a shit. You came there? Think he really cares? You came there because you were told to go there by a company, by the insurance company that wants to save money. Yeah. And you're going to help them do it by going there. And the other thing is in the process of helping them save money, you're going to help yourself lose money because they're going to charge you your deductible. That's right. So after they shaft you and give you a half-assed job, or maybe not even a half-assed job. I don't want to be too belligerent here, because some of these body shops, they might have craftsmen, they might do great work, but what I'm trying to focus everybody on here is you're going to allow an insurance-sponsored shop to fix your car, folks. They're going to fix that car consistent with what the insurance company feels, all right, is reasonable. Not what you feel, not what the adjuster feel, what they feel. Now, what they feel is reasonable may not be that reasonable to you. And then you're going to complain, and you know what they're going to say? Their answer to you is going to be, well, I'm sorry, but ABC Insurance Company, this is all they pay for. Great. So I'm supposed to drive around with a two-tone car now? Beavis? Yeah, really, folks, give me a break. All right, again, caption of the show, give me a break. But I'm serious, give me a break. You're going to a shop that the insurance company told you to go to, and you're expecting a different outcome. Forget about it. All right? Listen, maybe that guy will stand up for you if there's a problem. I don't know. All right? I'm just thinking human nature. I'm thinking outside the box here, the way most people think. Self-preservation, man. Look, I tried. I called them up. It started to get a little sticky. I had to back off. Right? You had a problem. You complained. They made a phone call. The insurance company's bitch slapped them. And they retreated and said, I tried, Mr. Smith, but it doesn't look good. Maybe you can try. You can call them here. This is their famous last resort line. That was what they'll tell you. Oh, give the insurance company a call, and maybe they'll do something for you, or you can work it out with them. I did what I had to do because I work with them, I work for them, and my hands are tied. Another great line you'll hear from them. My hands are tied, or give them a call and see if you can work something out. Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me. Give me a break. You come to V&J Autobody, which is where I work, right? I make no bones about it. I've been saying this from the beginning. I'm not an academic, a talking head. I'm actually in this business. I'm doing this day in and day out, helping people, all right, negotiating with the insurance company adjusters, most of which are very professional and fair and reasonable guys and girls. Some of them aren't, all right? It's a tough job. Point being, though, you come to my shop, and we consider it an honor, all right, and an opportunity to fix your car, because we want to make sure that we earn your business. And if you're coming to me because either somebody recommended you, you looked at our Google reviews, you looked us up in consumer review, one of the dealerships recommended us that we've been doing work with for decades. Perhaps we're a certified facility for many manufacturers. Perhaps one of them recommended you to us. But the point is that you're coming to me, and I'm embracing that. I'm saying, wow, this person could have went anywhere. They came here. They came here because they wanted to come here, not because they were told to come here. Okay, big difference, folks. All right, and if there's a problem, all right, you're never going to hear those words from me. You're never going to say, hey, here you go, man. Your car's outside. Looks great. We washed it up. We polished it. Oh, by the way, yeah, they didn't go for the wheel. Give Tony Granuto over there a call. He's up at the insurance company. Maybe he'll help you. You're never going to get that. And you're never going to get that at CollisionServiceNetwork.com. All right? Any of those shops that we have on there are some of the best shops in the industry. They have the professional staff. They have the knowledge. They have the experience to make sure that they handle things professionally and that they have the best possible outcome for you. All right? The customer, their customer. Same thing at V&J. All right? Give me a break. I mean, can you believe? Well, here, call the insurance. Oh, that's all I could do. My hands are tied. I work for the insurance company. That's all I can do. My hands are tied. Yeah, I tried to do the best I could. Give me a break. Get the hell out. I mean, what kind of BS bullshit is that, right? But you're going to get that. That's what you're going to get. When you go over there, you're going to get that. If you come over here, you're going to get what I said. All right? You go to CollisionServiceNetwork.com, and that's not going to happen. If there's an issue, if there's a problem, and how about this, folks? All right? How about this? We'll end this with this little caveat. All right? If there's a problem and it's not resolved, guess what? We take care of it anyway. We don't say our hands are tied. Our hands aren't tied. We fix the problem. And so do all of our client shops at CollisionServiceNetwork.com. they'll fix the problem. Whether it's a paint adjustment, whether it's a blending of an adjacent panel, which is whether it's replacing rather than repairing something, whether it's, maybe instead of repairing or conditioning a wheel, replacing, whatever it is. If it's a mechanical issue and the insurance company didn't want to go for it, we're going to make sure that we address it, take care of it, and make sure that you're happy and you're satisfied and you're safe. You're not going to get that over there. It's not going to happen, folks. All right, and let's not forget this. Many times with a collision service network shop, many times they can extend a discount to you on your deductible, right? You're not going to get that. You're not even going to have the opportunity for that. Over here you are. And in some cases, they can even forgive the whole amount. All right? So let's not forget that. All right? All of us are owning our cars now, or more of us are owning cars. More of us are invested in our cars. We need to be invested in who repairs it and why and how. Right? And that starts by going to collisionservicenetwork.com, getting familiar with us over there. There's a lot of information over there to unpack. It's great, good stuff. You can look at it at your leisure, obviously. Look at it for a little bit, come back to it a few days, a few weeks later, and hunt around, and you'll find we got a really cool frequently asked questions, how to speak to your insurance company. There's a whole cacophony of things there, a whole list of all kinds of good stuff that you don't give a shit about, but you really need to know. All right, and you really need to understand. CollisionServiceNetwork.com. All right. Remember, give me a break. All right, there's a big difference. Hey, I want to digress here a little bit on something I talked about in the last episode before we wind up here. So remember, I was talking about EVs, electric vehicles. Again, folks, I'm not trying to demonize anybody out there. Right? If you drive these cars and you like these cars, that's great. All right, me personally, they don't do anything for me. And remember, I'm a 1970s guy. All right, and I'm not a 1970s porn star. All right, all the guys in my shop, my hair gets long. They're like, "You look like a 1970s." I don't even know what that means, but I guess I got to go back and look at some old vintage porn tapes. I don't know. Anyway, but seriously, I grew up in the 70s. I love cars. All right, I really do. I mean, if I become a millionaire before I croak, I want to get one of them Barrett Jackson 1971, Chevelle, SS Chevelle. All right. I drove a lot of stuff. I drove a 74 Box Nova. All right. Anybody out there my age going, yeah, man, remember the Box Nova? I had the fuzzy dice. They had the shag carpet on the dash. What a bunch of crap that was. I don't know how I thought that was cool. I had the traction bars on the back. Of course, I blew that transmission up racing the guy in the Southern State. Unfucking believable. Stupidity at large. Then I had a 71 Gran Torino, which was phenomenal. I blew that up on Union Boulevard in Bayshore. I worked at a gas station up there on the corner of 4th and Union, and every night this asshole would come in with his Charger and harass me and say, I want to race you. And I raced him. I blew up the training like an idiot. Oh, well. Anyway, it was fun. Point is, we had all these different cars, and they had character, and they were extensions. So, what I'm saying is I understand that, right? I understand that if you like this, if you like them, it really turns you on. You get in there and you feel good, and it envelopes you into who you are, or it helps define who you are. I get it. I totally get it. I'm not trying to demonize them. I'm simply saying that there are major problems. There are big time cracks. All right, big time cracks in that industry. In fact, that reminds me, it just hit the news. Ford just announced, this is phenomenal. I mean, this is like, asinine on full display here. So Ford announces, they have the electric Mustang and the hybrid Fusion and the electric Fusion and all this other shit. They just announced, you can't make this up, that they've figured out that they've been losing $100,000 per production car, EV production car. This year they've slashed by 50% across the board, all EV production. They don't give a shit. Wham. That's it. They're basically not going to produce much more of anything when it comes to EVs with Ford. $100,000, folks. That's a lot of money to be losing on a car. All right, so that's all I meant. I was just trying to highlight that you have to understand the dynamics, the economics that are going on behind the scenes here. All right, but again, it's not to demonize anybody who's driving them. I get it. Listen, the Rivians, we're a Rivian approved shop. All right, we're one of only a handful. Rivian's another all-electric car. They looks like they specialize mostly in trucks, though, that type of thing, SUV. My boss drives one. I love it. I won't buy one. It's a little out of my price league, and it just doesn't do anything for me. I don't think it fits me. Again, it doesn't. I don't think it reflects who I am. But it's a big, bulky truck. The inside looks nothing like an EV, and I think it's cool. So it's something to check out if that's your thing. All right, so real quick. So with that, as it relates to that, all right, I was talking about the EVs and how insurance rates have jumped 22%. It's a lot more money to insure those cars. It's also a lot more money to repair them, both on the body side and the mechanical side. On average, this isn't made up. Remember what I told you? Facts, right? We're all about facts here. So factually speaking, almost 20% higher on average to fix these cars, and that's body and mechanic, right? That's incredible. That's a lot of money. So I wanted to just add to what I had discovered. I like to throw out tidbits here. If I find out there's a recall or there's a safety issue with a car, I like to get it out to the folks, right? It's a little public service thing we do here for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Remember, it's free. Public service announcement, crash course. So here's a public service announcement. Insurance companies. Did you know this? I didn't know this. All right. Very creepy, interesting, but creepy stuff. So the insurance companies apparently are now utilizing our oil vehicle service records. This is unbelievable. Folks, remember what I said about the insurance companies? Data-driven, and they look for ways to cut costs when, where, and often. And remember that one. When, where, and often. All right, it's a little jingle for you. When, where, and often we look to cut costs. When, where, and often. Anyway, I don't think that's ever going to make it into the top 40. At any rate, it's so true, though, right? And I always say when you pick up the phone to make your claim, they're already thinking about ways to what. So apparently they've discovered, I guess through this wonderful world that we live in, that, we're all quote-unquote connected. Yeah, phenomenal. So they're connected right to your service record now. They're pulling, I don't know how they're doing it, but I mean, everything is connected, so I'm sure they found a way. They're accessing oil vehicle service records, right? So when we bring our cars or our trucks or whatever we're driving and we have to get them serviced and we get oil changes and whatever else we're doing, they're actually using this to determine premium rates. You can't make this shit up. And they're basing it on how many times. Now check this out. So now you're a good person, right? You take care of your car. They're basing on how many times you set an oil change appointment. So how many times you get your car basically maintenance, right? Oil change, grease, whatever it is. Because they record your miles. Okay, they record the miles. Right? You go to the dealer. You go to any mechanic shop. They're recording the miles. They look at and compare how much you drive between oil changes. I mean, is anybody else out there getting this? I mean, again, give me a break. Excuse the language. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, give me a break. They're going to use our oil changes. So if you get an oil change and 4,000 miles, 5,000 miles, yet you roll in there again, and all of a sudden the mileage went from 10,000 to 20,000. Whoa! Whoop! Hello. We got a premium increase. This guy's driving all over the freaking world, man. He's driving all over the world. Check him out. Let's check him out. Let's really drill down. All right. So there's a little service tidbit. All right, folks. You heard it first here, Crash Course. They are utilizing your maintenance records through the dealership. All right, by comparing mileage differentiations from one service trip to the other and all this other nonsense, and then they're going to determine whether or not you're a good person, all right? You're driving too much. You're bad. You're getting a premium increase. Remember, folks, insurance companies, they're not your friend. Hey, one more thing here, too, which was really interesting, all right? Again, what do I say? Fun and educational and free. Anybody hear of this one? All right? Probably not. I'm being facetious here. Why would you? The Sudden Medical Emergency Defense Statute. If you're a lawyer out there and you're listening to me, you're probably laughing, especially obviously if you're in the injury field. This is something else. Apparently in New York State, as of 1997, there was a case called Casey versus somebody. I don't know. I thought it was Casey versus the people, but I checked that out and it ends up coming up that it was a shooting case or something. I don't know. But I think it's Casey versus somebody. Anyway, it's not important. What's important is, as of that case, New York State passed a statute that apparently, if you're driving, all right, now listen up, hello. If you're driving and you lose control of your vehicle due to a medical emergency, right? You go off the road, you have a heart attack, a seizure, a stroke, you stop breathing, you go blind, I don't know, whatever, pick something. Anyway, you can't drive the car goes careening, you run somebody over, you kill them, you go through a building, you destroy the guy's means of making a living. It's a disaster. Like, God forbid. All right? So, if that medical emergency that resulted in you causing all that mayhem was an emergency unbeknownst to you, right? So you're in your prime, top of health condition, you run miles every day, you lift weights and this and that, you eat really good, and all of a sudden you decide to have a stroke. You are not liable. This is interesting, folks. Listen up. You are not liable in New York State. You cannot be held negligent for anything that results from that. Okay? I just found this out today. I was involved with an insurance company. Again, this is what we do. All right, you go to quitandservicenetwork.com. You end up with a shop like V&J, and we look out for the folks. We look out for you. All right? And our customer was struggling with this, and I got involved on behalf of my customer. Got into it a bit with the insurance company, and I was able to double check all this. Well, it turns out they were right. There is indeed a statute as of 1997. All right, so if you're in an accident and you have a medical condition and you know about it, all right, and you cause an accident or, God forbid, you kill somebody, you're going to be on the hook. You're going to be on the hook. All right, if it's a known medical condition that results in you causing an accident, causing an injury, killing somebody, causing mass mayhem, you will be responsible. All right? If it's an accident that results from a medical emergency that prior to that you had no idea, all right, you had not been diagnosed, you never had any kind of issues, you're off the hook. All right? Pretty wild stuff, right? That's something to bear in mind, folks, because, I talk about injuries and injury claims and everything, right? So check it out. Somebody goes flying through an intersection, and just careens into four cars, and you're like, holy shit, what a jackass that guy is. Look at that. Bah, bah, bah. And you find out the guy dropped dead in the car. All right? Not funny, but it happens, right? Well, if he dropped dead for the first time, I'm sorry, that's retarded. If that's the first heart attack, and unfortunately the last one he had, all right, he's off the hook. If it's not, if he has a heart condition and he goes down for the count that day and he takes you out and you get injured, you're out of luck. Again, I didn't know this, and I worked in the insurance industry. That's because I stopped handling claims by 1997. So I would have had really no reason to have to be aware of this. All right, but I am now, and I'm just bringing it to you. All right? Hopefully you can use that in some capacity in your life. All right. Obviously, your lawyer would know about this, should know about it. If he doesn't, you should pack your stuff and run as quickly as you can for the door. But it's, think about it, right? I mean, again, what I talk about here, folks, listen, I know it's not exciting, right? It's not like looking at baseball or basketball game or hanging out, drinking beer and, and grab assing with the girls and playing loud music. I get it. I totally get it. All right. It's not the exciting stuff, but it's important stuff. It's important shit. It touches our lives every day. We make payments to these people every day, right? Every month, whatever it is. We pay our premiums, right? So we really need to be more involved in this, right? So when I see something like this, I bring it to the folks, right? Because you need to understand this. It's important. I mean, God forbid you're out there with your family and this guy comes careening through an intersection and wipes you out, all right? Obviously that's going to have serious implications, all right? So you need to understand what's going on out there. Now, if you listen to my show a lot, all right, you're probably now, because remember what I said, if you listen to Crash Course a lot, you're going to be the smartest person in the room out there, all right? You will be. That is an unconditional guarantee we are issuing here today, all right? If you listen to Crash Course, all right, on a regular basis, all right, you are going to be the smartest person in the room, at least as it relates to what we talk about. I can't. I have a disclaimer out there. I can't say for anything else. But seriously, folks, what do you think this is going to tie directly in with? What do I always say? And I just saw this with a customer. I can't believe it. Just had a customer come in. I checked his coverages, minimal across the board. Folks, think about it. I'm going to leave you with this. I promise. This is it. We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to leave you with this on this episode. All right. Sudden medical emergency defense statute. You get hit by a guy, he comes careening through an intersection, wipes you out, you and your family, you're all banged up, you're all hurt. All right, you're out of your mind. This guy's an imbecile. We're gonna sue this guy to the wall. Not exactly. Turns out the poor guy never had an incident before. He was, epitome of health. Went down with a stroke. You got no case. All right. So where does that leave you? It leaves you with your insurance. And what I've been saying for quite a while now. Shop your insurance, folks. Check that out. Make sure you got the coverage. The coverage that's going to bind you to this, that's going to protect you from this, not bind you, protect you from this. Guess what? Uninsured motorists. Uninsured, underinsured, or what's called UMI. Folks, check it out, all right? Make sure you're paying for the most amount of coverage that you can afford. There's a minimum in New York State. I think it's 25 or something like that. Please, make sure you pay for as much as you can, because if this happens to you, you're screwed. All right? And if your family's banged up, you're only going to have one recourse, and that's to sue your own policy through the UMI. All right? Hey, man, I hope everybody learned something here today. I hope everybody got a little bit of a chuckle. All right? I try and keep everything light as well as informative. All right? But do try and have a little fun with this. All right? And collisionservicenetwork.com. All right? Please go there. Get familiar with it. collisionservicenetwork.com. We are giving you information and knowledge you need and can use, advice you can trust. We're looking out for the folks. Nobody else. We are the real voice. We're the real voice of the Long Island auto body industry, because we get to talk to you fine folks on every episode. All right? Till next time, keep it cool.